Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where it is our mission to learn how to peace out and how to just trust God, right? And we have one of the biggest things I've learned is that it's actually really a process. There's not a button, peace out, push the button, we're all cool now. It's a process. And even yesterday I had some things come on my mind that wanted to steal that peace, right? And it was a process of going, okay, let's look at it rationally. Let's look at it spiritually. Let's look at it emotionally and bring it all back under the blood of Christ, bring it back to the cross, and we're okay. We're okay. So I had to talk myself down a time or two yesterday, just some things that went on, right? It's like, because I can get wound up so tight. Maybe y'all don't do that, but I do. Anyway, so I'm learning though, there's a process, and it's actually doable. It is actually doable to just make that choice. I'm going to let God's peace reign in my heart. And we're going to talk about the heart today. I love it when I'm studying one thing and I find something. I call it a nugget. Excuse me. But I find a little nugget that I wasn't looking for. It's almost like God hid it for me on purpose so that He could watch me find it. Did you ever do that with your kids or something? Or I used to. One of my favorite ways to give them presents was to give them a clue, and then they had to go find the next clue, and they had to go find the next clue, and they had to find the next clue, and then they found the present, right? And that was always fun because you watched them discover it, and you enjoyed the process of them finding it, right? Or even at Christmas time, putting things under the tree and they don't know what it is, and but you want to see them. We want to see that expression when they open it. And you want to see that joy on their face. And I think sometimes God does that with the Word. He just sits back and waits and goes, "This is gonna be good," right? And he waits for us to discover something. And that's kind of what happened this morning. I was working on Peace Out book, and I was looking for another peace scripture. I need four scriptures, maybe three now. And I was looking through some different verses, and I found myself in Psalm 69, and I found a nugget for me today. So I thought I would just share that with you, if that's okay. So in Psalm 69:32, here's where it was. I was reading. I was like, man, he was. Now look at this. At the first of the psalm, this dude was just like, "Save me, O God! The waters have come up to my neck. I sink in deep mire." Well, which is it? Deep mire or waters, right? Excuse me, but he was in a dire straits of some sort, right? My throat is dry. I'm weary with crying. My eyes fail while I wait for God. And he's like all this really. He's in a hard situation, and I'm not despising that at all, because we find ourselves in difficult situations, and the thing is, they can just sneak up on us, right? Well, it's not because of a choice. It's just kind of life. We find ourselves in difficult situations. So I'm not making light of what David was feeling in the first part of the psalm, but it's like right here in the middle, over in verse 32, he said this: "The humble will see this. He will see." It says, talking about God's salvation. He says, he starts on verse 30 and he switches, right? He switches because in verse 29 he says this: "But I am poor and sorrowful. Let your salvation, O God, set me on high." And after he prayed that, it's like he changed, because he was telling how bad the enemy was, how underneath the problems he was. And I'm like I was saying, I haven't ever had anybody chasing me, planning on killing me. Although I had one student bring a gun to school to shoot me. But I've never had anybody chasing circumstances in my life that Saul did. He was pouring it all out here. He's like, they're reproaching me, I'm these things, and then he switches over. Let your salvation, oh God, set me on high. That in the middle of really difficult problems that he was facing, right? Real life problems. Read it and not get the impact of his situation, right? But he switches and he says, "I will," with a song, "I will magnify him with thanks. Better than sacrificing an ox or a bull, will see and be glad." And here I need to look at this just a little bit more. God, your hearts shall there. Now there's more about God. He changed the whole vernacular of this psalm once he made that declaration. And we've talked about declarations a lot. He said, "I will." All this going on, and it's difficult, but I did that. The whole tone of the see God for who he was. He got his eyes off of everything that was going on, and that it all goes away. But it means I'm going to see it in a different light. Though you who seek God, praise that. I went, whoa, your heart. It's just your heart. That was easy. Your heart is just the deep part of you that makes you you seek God. So I was like, okay, well, what does seek? No, it means like, because we used to play kids and one person seeks. And so if I seek God, I'm following him. I'm looking for him in the day. Wait for heaven. What are things David was going through with every situation you're facing here? He doesn't say, well, come up here through it with you. Or of God, you say, God, what do I do? When you ask for wisdom, I'll give you wisdom. Hit me the hardest, but seeking God is actually worship. That would be adoration. If some people have walked out of my lives and I'm back, right? And some people walk out, oh, I'm glad that trouble is over. There's like someone you really share with you. And so seeking God is the highest form of trust. And it's that form of worship because you're saying the right words. It's not praying the right prayer. It's just saying, God, I need you. The poor in spirit will, their poverty of soul, and that's the highest form. Whether you make all the bad stuff go away or not, I just need you. And where we seek God, our hearts will live. Well, live means, but it means revive, nourished. How cool is that? Heart, our soul to seek God, be whole, preserve, recover. Something extra is laying out. If when we seek God, but here's the most psalm is that when he said, I will praise, and then he's been sharing, I became the drunkards, think, God, please come to me, turn to me. We need to